Alrighty, traders. Good morning. Happy Monday. And it's a holiday here in the US. It's Martin Luther King holiday. Dale is going to be he's taking a 3-day weekend, but you know what? We had some stuff to talk about today. So I'm happy that I've got Ryan here joining us and I got Kman joining us. And I don't know if Steve's going to join us because his leg still hurts, but we'll see. Ryan, good morning.
Morning, mate. How you doing?
Well, it's Monday morning, and I've been up since 4 on a U.S. holiday. It's pretty awesome. Uh, no, I planned on being here today just because, well, hell, I'm here anyway, and I have a hard time sleeping in anyway. But there was a little bit of movement last night. It seems like there's a little bit of movement today in European trade as well. What's going on overnight?
Yeah, a few bits and bobs going off. China, they were expected to cut rates, they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's things going on over there. Yeah, a bit of yen selling going on as well. Seems to have a bit of a drag. Nikkei making fresh highs yet again. So we're back on that bus for the moment. It seems we're going to get a test of 146 again in dollar yen. Yeah, you can see the Nikkei shooting up there. I'm just considering whether I should go call out many pairs just to see you flick around the charts really quickly. No, I'll give you a break because it's early in the morning.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because I'm like, I'm trying to keep up here. But the thing about the dollar yen, I've been wanting to sell this thing on a move to 140, 147.50. It's like I've had an order out. It's a good till cancel order. It's still sitting out there. And I'm wondering if we're going to get that opportunity this week. It is one of those situations where you have the dollar yen, obviously yen's weakening. More importantly, you got the Nikkei that's rallying, as you pointed out. Nikkei just surged past the 161% extension that I was looking at here over the week ahead video. You can see it right there. Oh no, maybe we haven't got to it yet. We're getting really damn close. We're getting, really close to that level. But the longer term 161% extension was taken out last week. But this is the one that I was looking at over the weekend. But it's explosive, right? I mean, what's causing this move, would you say?
That's a good question. There's maybe just some early year, positivity, call it risk on buying, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Rates are potentially going up in the spring. That's potentially profitable for banks and the like, and just a general uplift in the mood and sentiment in Japan regarding what's possibly happening with monetary policy.
Are they procreate? Are they pro? What? Are they having babies now? Is that? I was gonna say
No, that's the next thing. You probably see it 40,000 if that starts happening.
procreate.
But yeah, just a bit of general, positive sentiment. We are creeping towards the end of the fiscal year, so that all plays into it as well. We'll have to deal with that come part and parcel of the Bank of Japan stuff. The fiscal year end can always bring some funky moves as well. So yeah, it's all one lead into another at the moment, and the yen seems to be following.
It must be the Japanese machine tool orders that came out overnight. That's got to be the driver today. So, hey, before we continue on, I just want to say good morning, Shahib. Good morning, Michael. K-Man's good to see you here. Ryan, Patrick, Forex Gal, Esther, and Patrick, a different Patrick, and Ronak. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, Ronit's always got the answers, always. So thanks for jumping in there. K-Man, good morning.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Cheers, mate.
So what's going on in your world? I know. Did you guys do the flow show today? And how did you guys entertain yourselves?
Of course we did. We are workaholics, right?
Yeah,
Dedicated to the cause.
that's right.
Beat me, man. I don't know what's going on in that Nikkei. I think the market is just writing off January as a possibility for a Bank of Japan move. I mean, these people are still looking very much positive towards stock markets in general. And if Bank of Japan doesn't do anything for another couple of months, why not? Be in the Nikkei.
Yeah, I mean, like you got this choice. You're sitting there going, okay, well, the S&P is right at its highs. Do you chase the S&P higher, or do you go with the central bank that's not providing liquidity, or that continues to provide liquidity, I guess. So, I mean, I guess the answer to the market, it seems simple, right? But how about with China? So China didn't cut the 1-year lending facility, which I thought they were going to do. I think everybody thought they were going to do. They didn't do that. The Aussie's trading a little heavy. How do you feel about that with China? I mean, China's struggling as it is, and Chinese markets are, in the dumpster as it is, and what they did over the weekend didn't help. We just pierced new lows in the China 50.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, they are trying to keep the yuan in check right now because they're still fixing it very low, the dollar China. I don't know, but they at the same time they inject liquidity. I think it's the biggest liquidity injection we've seen in years that they've done in over the past month or so. So it's like they're replacing rate cuts by liquidity injection. So the net effect on the yuan was relatively nil. But
Yeah.
I think I don't know if we can put the antipodians in the same basket right now, because it was a bit strange that the Kiwi lost so much ground overnight, because we haven't seen anything. There's expectations for inflation data coming out as well a bit later this week, I think. But it was a bit strange that the Kiwi lost so much. Aussie came coming down in sympathy. Yeah, it's like this kind of transition day looks to have been the day where people say, "All right, let's clean up a few books and see what happens for the rest of the week, because there's going to be interesting data coming out." Hang on, let me kill the funny guy on the spoke. They got a new guy at live spoken. He's pretty funny.
Nothing like a comedian on the mic. That's great.
Yeah, we've seen those euro crosses as well coming up. We've had just Holtzman and Nagel out saying that we shouldn't expect rate cuts too soon either. So looks to be like a lot of cleaning of the books, and at the start of this week, because I still don't know whether we are really taking a real direction in most of the stuff. It all looks very rangy still.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I don't really know why Australia. Well, they had like a lower consumer numbers as well. But then Kiwi lost more, and I don't know why really either. I think it's just the market cleaning up books, before what's next.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's probably it, right? Waiting on the rest of the week, and probably the rest of the market to re-engage. So, real quick before we move on to what's happening in the UK, because there's a lot of UK data coming out this week. Chinese election, guys, or Chinese, excuse me, Taiwanese. I'm half. I was born in Taiwan. But it was an important election because it's basically a continuation of what they were, just the same government that they had, just new president, because they can only serve 2 terms as well. What is that saying to China? We're going to continue to be defiant, even though they didn't get. I think they didn't get a majority. I think they only got 40% of the vote, but still. How do you guys read that? And what do you think is going to be China's response? I mean, because this is not what they wanted, not what China wanted.
Ryan, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, can do. No, it's not what China wanted, but it's probably what they expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that the not gaining a majority, not getting as doing as well as last time could insinuate that there's cracks appearing in the resolve of Taiwanese people. But the election's done now. And I think we just wait. We haven't heard anything strong from China yet. The US is already making waves by sending delegates over and whatnot. China's had a moan up about that, but they've not come out yet with anything strong. It is a geopolitical risk, but I think it's going to be contained by rhetoric rather than actions. So we're probably going to get some stronger comments coming at some point down the line, much as we've heard previously. But yeah, trying to keep this one on the boil while they're looking at what's going on in Ukraine and elsewhere. So yeah, it's not coming off the boil anytime soon, I don't think.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's as Xi wants 2027, 3 years away. They want their China fully weaponized and ready for a Taiwanese invasion. So we got a few years before we have to really worry about that, I guess. And Ronan asks, "Serious? You're Taiwanese? I'm actually American, and I was born in Taiwan, but I was made, manufactured, and produced near Formosa Air Force Base." So you can take that for what it is. Let me see here. This week we have a lot of UK data coming out. And the cable continues to reverse and stall around here, around the 78% retracements, trying not to make new highs. What's the data that's most important on your radar, Ryan? What are you thinking this week? Because we have jobs data tomorrow morning,
jobs,
right?
CPI, PPI, retail sales.
Retail sales.
It's all important. It's all top tier data. The jobs numbers, we don't have a strong jobs trend in the UK like we do in the US. So, we might get an up number one month, a down number the next month. So it's not really going to tell us anything unless there's any big waves from that. CPI is obviously going to be really important in terms of the Bank of England and rate cut expectations, whether inflation is sticky or continuing to come down. And then obviously retail sales, we had a good November, and I thought there was a risk that December retail sales might go the other way, a bit of a drop off. But if there's a chance that it could be good as well on Friday, because it seems that shoppers have switched from present buying in November to food shopping for Christmas and the holidays in December. So we could get some reasonable numbers out of that this week, and then it'll probably all collapse in February when we get the January numbers.
But it's looking at the sterling, obviously it's not necessarily just a sterling story, because here we'd be looking at what's happening with the dollar, but the sterling on crosses. I mean, I look at the euro pound here, and we got some pretty we're coming up to some pretty gnarly. I said gnarly like I'm a surfer. We're coming up to some pretty strong support here in the euro sterling. Do you guys have any thoughts on this?
Go on, Kate, do you want that, Mum?
Yeah. Well, look, I'm very small, only short, because sterling has been doing relatively well. We've had a bit of a move higher. Well, it's only like 10 pips or so since Nagel and Holzman were talking earlier. But yeah, the sterling week is going to be important. And as I said, I mean, if we start to break back above 86.2030, I don't think it's really useful to be short euro sterling. But then in the cable, there is that very interesting level just around 126.10, and that thing held, is it 3-4 times or so? The 126.10, and that is going to be a very important level if ever we see a discrepancy between the sterling and i.e. weaker sterling and stronger, I don't know, US retails or so. That 126.10 is going to be extremely close on my radar this week.
Because if we get there, it's the 200 DMA is gonna and the 50 DMA, you can see it right here, are basically going to be in the same vicinity as that level. In just fast forward a few days, and we could be really trading on top of those two moving averages as well.
Yeah, this is going to be a very big level, right? And that could be defining what happens to cable for then a reasonable perhaps period of time. You always have to wait for the confirmation. That is for the downside of the sterling. Next, now on the top side of the sterling, if we continue to see those mildly good numbers for sterling with of course risk is what it is, but risk is still doing relatively okay if we look at it on the front end yields and on the indices, the stock markets. If we and sterling is somewhere a risk currency, right? So if we get better numbers out of the UK, then I think the cable should go for a retest of the 128 at least, and probably euro sterling get a lot closer to that mid-low 85s. That is
Got
what.
it. Let's talk a little bit about yields. Late in the week last week, we saw the 2-year break down. That was a little surprising to me. It wasn't surprising to me that we saw like yields come off. The 10-year yields, rejected the 200 DMA. So wasn't really so surprised about that. But we saw like the lower end, like here's the 2 and here's the 5. They really started to show some signs of weakness here. What do you guys have any answers to why that happened? Like on that end of the curve?
On the short end, it
Yeah.
looks as if, it looks as if we are pretty much bull steepening the curve right now. So that is that the bond market is still firmly trading the interest rate, the interest rates coming off, and well, there's not too much of other explanations, because yes, Patrick, that's right. I've been talking about that too. The size in the repo or reverse repo market, the reserves are coming off pretty rapidly. So the market is expecting the Fed to start really to look at what they are doing with the QT. I think a couple of speakers, and if I'm not mistaken, was it Mester or so who started to talk about the RRP as well, meaning that they are keeping an eye on it. So that's something as well that could help the curve bull steepen a little bit more. As we can see, we are now tighter than 20 BPs, the 210s. So that's that we haven't seen in quite a while. So I think that's what's going on in the bond market. They got a bit of help with the PPI on Friday, trading that. But then people are saying, like, if you look at it, and if you look at the differentials, euro dollar should be trading higher, the dollar should be trading a bit lower. But then, as I've said last week, it doesn't seem that the FX market is completely on board, or there is a severe lack of flows to take the FX market in the same direction as the bond market or the equity markets are doing right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, and you can see the difference here in like the Euro 10-year and then the US 10-year, a little bit different picture at this point. So, all right. Well, thanks, Kman. Appreciate that. So, as far as this week goes, we do have there's actually a lot of data coming out. One of the markets that's going to be providing some pretty good data is going to be I almost said Canada. Canada, which is tomorrow. We're going to have CPI data coming out. And at the end of the week, I think we have retail sales. The dollar CAD continues to be really firm here, and we're back above 134. Now I'm long a pretty good chunk of it. I'm looking for a move towards this 200 DMA, which is going to be really important as far as I'm concerned. Do you guys playing any Canadian longs? Well, short dollar CAD or short CAD, long anything like the Euro CAD or anything else? Do you guys have any exposure?
No, I haven't got anything.
You don't have anything on. Ryan,
No,
you
me
trade the
neither.
Canadian at all?
No, not at these levels. We're really mooching around the middle here. of the range. So I might be tempted if we get to a move either side of it. Maybe back down to that 132s, and maybe up towards 136s, that sort of area. But no interest here in the middle.
See, 2 weeks ago when we were down at the, we were just coming off of the new year, and I really wanted to get long the dollar CAD around the 131.50, 132 level. I was just waiting for a little bit of a pullback. Thing has not given anyone an opportunity to get on the long side. I mean, the pullbacks have been so minor. It's just been grinding higher. I mean, yes, you've had a couple of days where you're down a little bit, but really there's like been no lower lows, if you will. And this thing is just up in everybody's face. And then you start looking at crude and you're like, well, hell, what happened? I mean, crude's been, was trying to pop last week above $73 and maybe get to $75. That didn't help. I mean, what happens if you start to see crude really weaken here? This dollar CAD could be so much higher. And that's the thing I keep focusing on. It's not giving shorts an opportunity to get out. It's not giving people an opportunity to be long. And we are trying to forge a bottom around a big range that we've been in for quite some time. You can go back to, early or mid 2022. And, we're just in a range, but, holding the lower end of the range. So how far can we squeeze from here? Anyway, I like the dollar CAD. You give us a little bit of weak inflation data, which tends to be the trend that we've seen, globally. If Canada has a little bit of weaker CPI tomorrow, man, I think we could open up towards the 200 DMA tomorrow. So anyway, that's just some of my thoughts there.
The good thing about this one is that we know that Macklem is a bit flip-floppy. If he gets strong data, he can turn a bit more hawkish than he was before, and vice versa. So it can give you a bit of a move, the CPI data, if it brings Macklem out his box to talk one way or another. Then maybe you get another move towards the edges of the range.
All right. Yeah, I mean, maybe that is the case. Well, tomorrow's going to be a big day for Canada. Hey, I know we got just a few more minutes. Glad that everybody tuned in today. I know it's a holiday. I know there's a lot of people that are just, completely checked out, especially here in North America. We still have a pretty good group for being around. I know Steve is here. Steve, I know you're in pain. You might be listening in, you may not be listening in. Just wanted to see if you had anything that you wanted to say this morning about the markets. If he's even muting or unmuting, not even sure. So we'll see if he's let's see if he chimes in or not. If he doesn't, he's not muting. That means he's dealing with a bit of a leg injury after he's playing basketball, and he's like in his mid 40s. I mean, dude, that's like me trying to do gymnastics at the age of 52. Ryan, maybe we should start that up. What do you think?
You start out.
let's start doing some gymnastics. All right. So
I'll watch.
What's that?
I said I'll watch chair gymnastics.
Hold my beer. I got you. Watch me. All right. It's funny, actually. I did a cartwheel, believe it or not, last year, and I think I pulled every muscle in my back doing one. So that was fun. Let's. I shouldn't be doing that anyway, but that was after a couple glasses of wine. Kman, you can sympathize with that. We got about a few minutes before we wrap things up. Ryan, what are you thinking right now as far as this week goes? What's like hot on your plate, thinking, hey, I really think this might happen this week? Something you're looking at in particular?
Yeah, as I was saying on the flow show, I've got a few fishing rods out. As I said again on the flow show, I only did my first new trade of 2024 on Friday. A bit of a scalp in the S&P. That's one I still think has the potential for a bust up. So I'm going with some buy stops above the current highs that we've got up there in the 48s. Because I think we've come through those earnings. On Friday, no horror stories.
And speaking of which, we do of earnings, we have some other financials this week.
Yeah,
by the way.
Yeah, we got some We got some. Where we got some? Yeah, I put a post up in the room. Some bits and pieces dropping. So yeah, it's a big month. Obviously, it's Q4 stuff coming through, so it's a big month for earnings. So they're going to
Oh,
continue to come through. But I've just a bit of a gut feeling, and the price action starting to indicate as well that we might get a break. So I'll go with buy stops because it's low risk. If we don't break, I don't lose anything.
sounds good. Sounds good. And Barry, I was sitting here thinking about it. Barry just asked, are there any other shows today? I am going to do the morning edge with you this morning. I don't know if Steve's going to pop in. I'm here. I'm sitting here. So in about 45 minutes, I'll catch you guys for the morning edge so we can fill out the bias chart. I can, talk to you guys personally, give you some of my deepest, darkest secrets. So I'll see you guys in about 45 minutes. And then after that, it'll be a day because the North American trade is going to be pretty low. So pretty slow, I would assume. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the morning edge in a little bit. And if you are a ForexAnalytix subscriber, we'll see you there. Kman, how about you as far as what's big on this week for you? I mean, and by the way, Ryan, I totally get it. I mean, we take out these highs. I wouldn't be surprised if we pop to 4,900. I think that's doable for sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
No, but if that would happen, then you probably would think that the yen pairs are breaking a bit higher as well.
yeah,
It's going to be positive for risk. No, so I'm going to be a bit focused on sterling this week, as I said. I would also, as you said, the Canada could be in for a bit of a move. And then, assuming that there's no big accidents, I think perhaps this week could be one where you go to see those support levels in all things Mexican peso also, because it continues to trade on the relative firm side. But this could be a week where we go to do that last leg to go and really test the support. That's a possibility, unless risk turns around. But that does not seem to really be the case right now. Yeah, that's about it. Yen
hey,
is
do you
going to
guys have any
be
thoughts regarding the Swiss? Like I look
yeah,
at the
well,
dollar Swiss. This is like one of my on my radar.
yeah.
Like it looks like it wants to it's a make it or break it level for the
Mhm.
dollar Swiss. I mean, right here, right?
Well, I think it's going to turn because as you know, and the people and I was speaking about it on the Flow Show as well this morning. I've got my more medium-term calls in the dollar Swiss via my options. I got 3 and 6 months. There's one which is turning already around my first strike around here, 85.5. I've been trading it around already a little bit to get some premium back, and that is still the side that I will be looking at. And hopefully that's a move for Q1, even though I did a longer term option. I did 6 months at 87 as well, but it doesn't have to go until expiry, of course. But it's going to be a trade, I think, which should be for Q1, because if by Q2, which I think is going to be the decisive quarter for the whole of 2024, if by Q2 we are still mooching around here, then I think we will have to screw back our expectations a bit on both Swiss or the dollar. So
Yeah.
that's what I think about the Swiss franc. I do think that sooner or later, looking at the state of their reserves and how they have been buying Swiss franc, I think they're at the end of it. And
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I think
I'm with you.
Swiss is going to
I
turn.
really, really want to play this one to the long side. I want to play the dollar Swiss to the
Yeah,
long side. So I'm
yeah.
with you on that.
There's going to be there's one big magic level which will have to break to really turn it around, and that's that low 88s. It's still going to be the magic level. It's been hammered so much up there. It's going to be really the magic level is 88, 88.20 or so.
All right, and that's going to be right around here. If you
Yep.
guys can see that that
Yep.
big zone area.
Yep.
Yeah,
Since
we'll see if we
May
can get up there. And
2023.
plus, by the time we got up there, the 200 DMA would be meeting us around that same level, I think. So, well, great stuff, guys. I appreciate you being here. I know it's a U.S. holiday. It's not so much you know, it's not anybody else you know, is celebrating the MLK Day, but you know, this is actually a holiday that sneaks up on me. The state of Arizona, where I live, didn't observe MLK Day till probably about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. So even for me, you know, living most of my adult life here in the state of Arizona, it sneaks up on me every time. It's like, oh, my kids have a 3-day weekend. I totally forgot about that. So just that's why I'm never ever prepared, like to be on holiday or anything. So anyway, but I'm glad to be here with you. I'm glad you all stuck around with us. Remember, if you guys are, you know, checking us out, you know, jump in the chat rooms. You know, take a $1 trial for 10 days. Jump in the chat room. You can see us, you know, chatting around, putting in charts, you know, putting in our trades. You can get caught up on news stories. This is where I start my morning. I usually come over here and see what Ryan and Kman have posted, and everybody else through, you know, through their Bloomberg, you know, links and everything else that everybody's doing. And we got the S&P room, the macro chat room, the Flowonomics room. So make sure you check us out, because this is where you're going to find the three of us pretty much all day long inside the ForexAnalytix community. So make sure you join us there. And that's gonna wrap us up for today. But if you are in the community, I will be on the morning edge, hopefully joined by Steve, but we'll be there in about 45 minutes from now. And tomorrow we'll be back to business as usual. We'll have Dale here and everyone else joining us then. So thank you all for being with us today. Kman, Ryan, thanks for joining us, joining me.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Talk to you soon.
Yeah,
We'll
see
see you
you tomorrow.
tomorrow.